Welcome to our show, Earth's Magnetic Pole Shift. For years, we've relied on modern navigational systems to get around, but most people have not noticed that these systems received a crucial update a few months ago. Why was this necessary? Because the Earth's magnetic North Pole is constantly moving. In fact, it's now closer to Siberia than it was just 5 years ago and continues drifting toward Russia. Scientists have updated its position in their navigational systems to keep them accurate. If you are wondering how this is possible, here's how.
This is our planet Earth, and this is the top of the world. In the middle of the Arctic Ocean, this is the North Pole, the geographic North Pole, also known as the true North. Now, what also remains true is that marking the North Pole is quite challenging because the area is covered by sea ice, which is constantly moving. Yes, for theoretical purposes, its geographic location is fixed. And this is crucial for us to tell us when the world is upside down. But funnily, the true north is kind of like the Pythagoras theorem. We don't use it much in day-to-day life. What we do use is the magnetic North Pole. We use it for navigation. It's on our GPS, and it's different from the true north. You may remember this from primary school. The Earth's core has molten metals. They are constantly churning like a moving ball filled with water. And when the metals churn, they create a magnetic field which protects us from the sun's radiation. This is what the magnetic field looks like, and these lines converge at the top and bottom of our planet. The topmost point is the magnetic North Pole. Now, unlike the true north or our geographic north, you can't trust the magnetic north to stay in one place. And you can blame the molten metals. They keep sloshing continuously. So the magnetic lines are never static. They're always jiggling. So the northernmost point is always on the move. This pole was first discovered in the 1800s. Back then, the pole was situated in the Canadian Arctic. Then it drifted away and moved towards Russia. This was a very slow process, but now the pole is closer to Siberia than to Canada. And this recent shift has happened at a much quicker pace. The North Pole's move has accelerated, and it's shocking scientists.
Updating our GPS systems isn't the only challenge we face. As the magnetic North Pole continues to shift rapidly, scientists believe we may be in the midst of a magnetic pole reversal. It's not the first time this has happened. Evidence shows that Earth's magnetic pole has flipped many times in the past.
There are major magnetic pole shifts every 12,000 years called geomagnetic excursions. There are even more minor events on the 6,000-year half cycles. The China event was just confirmed earlier this year. The most well-studied events are the last one, 12,000 years ago, the Gothenburg geomagnetic excursion, and an exceptionally powerful one about 40-something thousand years ago, called Le Champ. This happens very regularly, and it has already started happening again now. The Earth began its magnetic shift in the 1850s, but it has progressed more since the year 2000 than it had in the 150 years or so before. The shift is accelerating, and will keep accelerating. These shifts can happen very rapidly. In fact, if the next one happened tomorrow, it already wouldn't be the fastest one in history after having been ongoing now for more than 150 years.
The magnetic field, though invisible, is a vital shield that protects life on Earth. It deflects harmful solar winds and cosmic radiation, preserving our atmosphere and safeguarding all living organisms. However, during a geomagnetic reversal, it can weaken significantly. There are regions on Earth where the magnetic field has already deteriorated considerably, and these weak spots are rapidly expanding.
Earth's magnetic field is crucial for protecting the planet and life. But now, This protective bubble surrounding our planet is developing a weak spot, allowing dangerous particles to slip through. Scientists call it the South Atlantic Anomaly. This is a region where the Earth's magnetic field is significantly weaker than elsewhere. It's like a pothole in space, an area where satellites and spacecraft become more vulnerable to the harsh radiation environment of space. As these machines orbit Earth, they pass through this weakened region, risking damage to their sensitive electronic systems. What's more alarming is this anomaly isn't static. It's expanding westward and may even be splitting in two. Scientists at NASA are keeping a watchful eye on these changes. This evolution suggests that the Earth's magnetic field is undergoing significant changes, possibly linked to the dynamic movements of molten iron within the planet's outer core.
According to scientists, the magnetic field can sometimes drop to just 5% of its normal strength during a flip. This weakened shield allows significantly more cosmic rays to penetrate the atmosphere. Periods of low magnetic field strength can be extremely hazardous. They could disrupt or even destroy electrical infrastructure, posing a serious threat to modern civilization. In the event of a major solar storm or flare, the sun's radiation could more easily reach Earth's surface, endangering life. While these magnetic flips themselves haven't directly caused mass extinctions, scientists have found that weakened magnetic fields during these times can make species more vulnerable and contribute to extinctions.
These events coincide with major climate shifts in the past, volcanic events, and biosphere stress that results in the extinctions of species. After the scientific field went back and forth on this topic for decades, the conclusive study was performed in the world's #1 geophysics journal. These magnetic excursions take out several species and cause serious stress on the entire food chain, through not only volcanoes and climate shifts, but extra space radiation, navigational issues with birds, mammals, and marine creatures.
In May of this year, Earth experienced the consequences of a weakened magnetic field alongside the strongest solar flare of 2025, which caused radio blackouts across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Earlier, damage to electronic systems led to massive blackouts in Spain, Portugal, and parts of southern France, also linked to the weakened magnetic field. Dr. Ben Davidson, founder of Space Weather News, explains how this happened.
There was certainly an induced electricity event in the atmosphere, and it definitely was the cause of these blackouts. We are in the middle of a magnetic pole shift here on Earth, and this has been ongoing for several decades. It's been speeding up and speeding up, and in recent years, it has kind of crossed a threshold where it is pretty concerning at this point. And one of the things that is happening is it is letting dangerous amounts of energy from outer space into the atmosphere and into the Earth system. I started looking at some of the data on what's happening up at the top of the sky. We actually have pretty sophisticated ways of measuring and monitoring how much of this electromagnetic energy is getting past that magnetic shield and actually interacting in the atmosphere. Over the North Atlantic, you can see this energy coming down through, and it was a pretty preposterous amount. It was a weak spot, a hole, a crack that opened up in Earth's magnetic field and let that energy actually come into the Earth. It came down through and then it followed the wind, which was pointed right at Portugal, Spain, and northwestern France. And this energy signature began first thing in the morning as soon as dawn broke, which is when all of the problems began with their system.
These are merely the early signs of a weakening magnetic field's impact. 2 decades ago, during a lecture, Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan had already spoken about the potential for Earth's magnetic pole rotation to affect the weather.
天气改变很多啊，很多国家都这样子，连那个爱尔兰、英国哈那些地方以前是本来是很雾雾蒙蒙的啊，看不到太阳了。他们常常开玩笑说，我们在英国哈1年看到太阳1次。也许这个我们那个保护层越来破坏越多了，因为我们没有修它，没修理好。也许这个地球它改变它的方向，慢慢来着转。听说以前埃及的历史有说，我们那个地球以前那个南极北极是很热的，然后那个意思说现在太阳那个出来的时候，以前就是太阳晒的地方。也许现在它开始要改变它的方向，我们也不晓得。
Recently, the magnetic pole shift has been occurring at such a rapid pace. Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan has warned us about the possibility of even more catastrophic consequences, including potential global destruction.
God told me that humans should fear for world destruction and fear for world karma. And I'm told that because of the Earth's rotation's conflict, God doesn't talk a lot and not much explanation sometimes. So I guess it is like the spinning system, rotating has problem. And I asked, what is the effect of that? So I'm told that the magnetic field does not shield Earth because it has some damage and it's getting bigger.
Thank you, most beloved Master, for enlightening us about the possible dangers the world is facing. Wise viewers, the only way to prepare for such an event is for all of humanity to embrace the compassionate vegan diet. If the whole world chooses the vegan lifestyle, it will generate a loving, elevated energy, potentially halting the magnetic pole shift and repairing any existing damage.
Did you know that no human would need to starve if we didn't eat animals? About 70% of all global land is used to grow food for animals that about 7% of all humans eat. Reverend Jenny Herbig, vegan.
Caring viewers, thank you for your company today.